Today, we're talking about product launches on Amazon, how to give your product the best chance of success. I'm Nick,
I'm Jace.
and welcome to the Demand Gen Daily Podcast. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, ask us questions. We answer them on the show, and if we don't, we will reply to you with an answer. Today, product launches on Amazon and how to win. Jace, what is your experience?
Yeah, so product launches. When I first started on Amazon, I didn't know what a product launch was or why it mattered. Just put the product up, and if people like it, it'll build it and they will come. Create a good product and it'll sell itself. No, that's hogwash. That's a romanticized notion. You can have an amazing product, and if there's not a launch, an intelligent launch strategy, you're going to be disappointed. So a launch strategy is when you first launch a product on Amazon and you're trying to coordinate marketing efforts to be hyper focused on one 24, maybe 48-hour period, usually 24-hour period. So I'm coordinating influencer marketing reviews, promotions, content marketing to drive traffic to a new listing, a well-optimized listing, right at that launch date. And it's converging right on that 24-hour period. Okay. I should have mentioned when we talked about reviews a couple episodes ago, you can't ask your friends and family to go to a listing, buy it, and submit a review. People do, but technically that is against Amazon's terms of service. And believe it or not, Amazon has whether it's an AI technology or some sort of monitoring device, they will know. If you post on Facebook, hey, I got so-and-so's, buy this and submit a review, technically that can skirt the lines of Amazon's terms of service and you can get delisted or suspended for it. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about ad strategies, content marketing, influencers for sure, a bunch of reviews that are all published at a certain time. You use the same link. You're using links to track each source of traffic. That's a whole other subject, but you're driving them to that fresh listing at all times. Okay. So other things that you're doing is you want to make sure that listing is optimized to best practices beforehand. We've talked about listing optimization in a past episode, but just really briefly, you want to make sure that hero shot is standing out among your competitors. You're obeying Amazon's terms of service, but you can still be creative with terms of service. You can add packaging. You can add foreground content. So if you're using a cream of some sort, we can see the cream within that bottle or within that tube, right? With a kitchen brand that I worked with, we had the coffee beans in the foreground of the double wall thermal insulated cup and the packaging in the background. Did that ever get us delisted? Never. Because Amazon search results, their terms of service, the spirit of the terms of service is to minimize spam and to have elegant search results. So you can't have anything like as seen on TV, 100% guaranteed, blah, blah, blah. But you can add things to the hero shot that distinguish it among the search results. Really critical. And then you want to be able to test that. So as all this traffic comes in a 24-hour period, you're testing, or you're measuring the session rates. The session rate is how much time someone spends on a listing. And that's critical. If they're jumping off under 7 seconds, your listing has a problem. The title's wrong, hero shot's wrong, product image is wrong, bullet points are wrong, right? It's not conveying enough compelling reason to stay on the listing, and you need to be able to address that. Okay, so all that work and best practice should be done before the launch date, obviously. Any questions, Nick?
No, when doing all of these things, right, like there's some nuance behind like the ordering, I guess, of these things. So could you maybe give us like a rank order of importance here?
Yep. Influencer marketing is a huge one. I think a lot of people are intimidated by it. Oh my God, I can't get PewDiePie or so-and-so to review my product. You don't
a really big name.
Yeah. Or even just within the space, like you and I may not know the person, but in that niche community, she or superstar, you don't necessarily need them. You can have really effective influencer campaigns with influencers. People who are just members of the community, they don't necessarily have a big following, but a lot of them converged on one time, this is the thing, you need to make sure that they're publishing that review, if you're doing a review format, all on the same day, preferably in the same hour, right? Because Amazon's algorithm, the priority, and we're talking about priority, you want them all hitting that listing at the same time. Not so you have 100 buys, right? Over the week is not going to have nearly the same impact as 100 buys within the same 12-hour period. That's going to signal to the algorithm that, hey, something's happening here with this listing. There's a lot of traction, there's a lot of interest. We're going to give it a boost to see if it starts converting better, right? You can't control that. The only thing you can do is really try and converge it on the same time frame. That's number one priority. Yeah. After that, obviously, I want content to back that up. A lot of people, especially when you're buying something more than $40 or something like that, it's not an impulse buy. They are more likely to search off Amazon for information about you, reviews, content, who's using it. They want to see it in the real world. How is it assembled, if assembly is necessary, that kind of stuff. And you want a plethora of content to come up right at the top of the search results for that, to add a lot of social proof. That's really key. You want that set up before any launch date.
That makes sense. Are there any tips or other tricks? Because I guess it depends on the people's situation. For example, if you already have an e-commerce website and you're making your foray into Amazon, maybe your product launch can include like an email to all your previous buyers that, hey, we're launching on Amazon and there's going to be this deal.
For sure.
It's on discount by this much.
Yep.
And to try to drive that initial volume. So I guess it depends if you have an existing business versus an Amazon-only business.
Yep. So the other thing, you're touching on pricing is a sort of separate thing. I want like a dedicated podcast on that. But pricing plays a huge part in launch strategy. You want to be as low as you can to break even, maybe even lose a little bit of money in the short term. I know people say I'm not in the business here to lose money, but in the short term, pricing and competing on price can be a very effective strategy. That's not a long-term strategy. I know people have this idea that Amazon is just a race to the bottom. If you're not a Chinese brand, forget it. That's simply not true. I've worked with brands where the most expensive brand within that category, but still the top recommended seller.
Yeah.
There are definitely ways to do that. But in the short term, you can be aggressive on that. And that's an easy boost. Like, it's just a no-brainer. You're automatically going to do better if the listing's done well, if you're able to bring your price down. And again, you could do that for 48 hours, 72 hours. Some people do it for as long as 60 days. When you're in a really competitive category, what I've noticed is that it's easy to sweat the competition. They don't know how long you're willing to reduce your price and raise the cost. Do two ways, right? Bid more, raise your cost of the competitors on your PPC ads, and lower the ads. And these guys are in the business of losing money. How long are they going to do it for? You're causing them sleepless nights. They don't know you're only going to do it for 30 days. They don't know that, right? And they tend to drop off, and then cost of maintaining that, the A cost goes down, right?
Absolutely.
It can be a really effective thing. Now, and if you combine that with a listing that is converting, that's just magic right there, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to say, yeah, but when I push my price up and they have deeper pockets, is it just going to reverse? Not necessarily, because that gave you a time to establish a sales history on the platform. And you're converting well, you're selling well, you've then owned a higher spot on the search results.
Yeah,
and as
you
long
got
as
those reviews in while you're getting those sales in. Yeah,
you got more reviews, you have inventory solid, you're not running it in inventory with a spike of sales. You're showing Amazon, okay, this is a legit seller. This is going to receive a more long-term positive sales ranking.
Absolutely.
Very effective.
Excellent. So next episode, we are going to be talking about how to deal with Amazon knockoffs if you're on the platform and some people are trying to maybe copy you, have similar products than you, what to do about that. So until next time, stay tuned.